You need engine data. You need it now, not later. Keep application 2.0.
Good morning, you little bean flickers. Let's party. Okay, what are we going to be doing today? Well, it occurs to me I have a video on how to do a thermostat in a Promaster, but I don't have a very well-produced one. Frankly, I don't have any well-produced videos. So, that's what we're going to be doing. Your symptoms of this are either an overheating condition or an underheating condition, which is almost more common, where the van refuses to get up to temperature. While we're standing here touching each other's giblets, the way you would figure that out, Mr. Head Torch, when the thermostat opens is start up from dead cold and reach down for this big-ass radiator hose here. When you feel that getting warm, that's when the thermostat opens. Theoretically, you'd be monitoring the temperature, and then you'd know what thermostat you have. These two lines, the heater-cooler lines, will get warm first before the thermostat opens because they're in the circuit for the head. And the way the flow in this thing is designed, it's designed to get the head up to temp for emissions purposes and for grilling hot dogs. But the actual thermostat is, well, you'll see it, but once it opens, this big line here that goes into the radiator will get hot, and that's how you'll know. You gotta know when you're hot. Sorry, I blinded you. I say, gotta know when you're hot. The general thing that we're gonna do, you can do this job without draining the coolant, but you are gonna take a bath. And I've done it on the side of the road, and it ain't pretty, it's very messy. But I'm gonna drop the coolant, which I'll show you how to do, not particularly complicated. As an overview, I should say, we're going to do this from the top, and we're going to do it in such a way that it's easy to see. I'm going to take this headlight bucket out, and I may take the air filter box out, which can be a red herring because it's quite difficult to get the filter box completely out unless you have mad skills. But then again, we might be able to get it. I've got one of these Menards trays that I use to catch the spooge, and we'll mop up afterwards, and they'll be cuddling. All right, let me drop this coolant. Well, I'll show you how I do that. So this shield, you little monkeys, if you want to get it off, it's 3/8 of 8 millimeters at the front, one in the side, in front of the tire, one going straight up into the body, and then it'll drop low enough for you to get a tray in under it. This isn't rocket science. Not all vans have this tray from new. And some have a tray, and normally it's secured by a bolt in the back, but not on this one. Anyway, this is this or this. Let me give you more light. There you go. This one or this one or this one is enough, because we're just trying to drain it out below the level of the thermostat. All right, you got that, fuckers? As I say, you piss-drunk cocks, I'm going to take this headlight bucket out, mainly for visual acuity and also for the fun of it. As you can see, this van is high mileage and has been out many, many times. If you don't know how to take the headlight bucket out, well, I guess you're about to learn. This one down here removes this thing, which I call the toenail panel for reasons that should be apparent. Put that there where you're sure to lose it. Thumb screw, which you may need to get started with a plier or some such. The fact this is not the stock one, a factory one would have a Phillips fitting in it. This, I would call this the upper toenail panel. The captain and toenail. It just tips up and swings, and you can handle this. All right, now we got three. This one's missing one, but 3 10s here, back down, and up here. Take those 3 10s out. Oh, the river Viagra is coming. I have, as you can see, that's green. Let me show you something while I'm here. This is smart for you to do. And I know you need all the help you can get in the smarts department. I put UV dye in there, 10 bucks at any parts store. Look at it, it's like a fucking love-in. It's like a goddamn rave party for a teenager. All right, live it up. That's how you find leaks. I would never say a bad word about a customer. That's right, with the pee-pee touching. Anyway, once your 3 bolts are out, you yank on your headlight, and there's a pin that holds it back here. And don't run away yet, because you got this action happening. Thank you. Look at that. Look at these production values I give to you people. There's your fucking headlight. And you put that over here, like so. Now, thermostat is follows this big pipe. Well, let's get this apart and I'll show you. As you can see, an 8 here, an 8 here. You'll have a 10 here, and then we're going to pull this out. By the way, to drain all the coolant, if you really care, we're going to probably hear a change. And then you can put your lips on that and blow. It won't do anything, but you'll look hilarious when you do it, and I will laugh at you. But that aids in dropping the juice. Because I'm a fart smeller, I could add that once enough coolant is drained out to where you're pretty sure it's going to be more or less below, you won't be able to get it all out, but below the level of the thermostat, you can put the hose on and put the hose back together. And then we're going to reuse this coolant as you would expect, but there's no reason to wait till the end because you've probably already stepped in the bucket of coolant. One reason why doing it this way is weird is that even though I can get a pretty good yank on this, there are these two pins at the bottom that hold this fucking thing in, and they are in there. Derek is down below. Go ahead, give her all your yankage. There we go. And it's still, there we go. And even when it comes out, it's still quite a finick to get it to get out of your way. But we'll get it out of your way.
The easiest way is to take the fill tube off the valve cover.
That's, oh yeah?
Yeah.
All right, that's a good point. So the fill tube on the valve cover, you squeeze this little tang here and it'll spin, turn. Yeah, you could take this out too. Two ways to do it here, which is kind of a pain, or two Phillips screws hold it this way. A lot of ways to do any of these things. Derek has gotten frustrated and he's pulling the platform that the air cleaner sits on. Again, the lengths I go for you people. To make educational video. And as I say, I'll reiterate, you don't have to take the air box out, it just makes it a little easier. This, for those of you keeping score at home, is our thermostat housing. The main output of it, which goes to the radiator, that's the big hose I was squeezing earlier. This is a bleeder screw, and it's secured. The housing and the thermostat are one piece, and it's secured by a 10mm bolt at the top and the bottom. There is no torque spec, you just kind of tighten it up, and the new housings will come with their own rubber gasket kind of thing. We are doing, I suppose now's a good enough time as any to mention, we're going to do the Dorman aluminum upgrade. Get in the zone, you knob gobblers. Check it out. So here's your Dorman for front-wheel drive Chrysler applications. Was it $60? Pretty straightforward. Dorman sells it. Rock Auto sells it. Every auto part sells it. Every place sells it. Don't hesitate. Get the metal. Metal! By the way, Derek is going to show you the right tool to get that off. Years that hose will be seized onto the plastic fitting that it fits. So Derek is going to use that hook to get in under it. This one's been off recently, so it should just come right off. And you could kind of go around the circumference, or you could use something like this, or anything you can jam in there. What you don't want to do is tear the hose. Look, if I have to fucking explain this to you, you probably shouldn't be doing this job. How to get a hose off. I could explain to you how to get my hose off, but we don't have time for that. It's a whole, it involves costumes. All right, Derek is gonna 10mm off his nuts. The reason he's doing that now is because once the thermostat is away from the block, then you can turn the thermostat and make it easier to get it out of the hose. This whole job, if you've never done it, I guess you could play around here for an hour. Expect to get a face, ear, or mouth full of antifreeze. And remember, that shit's toxic as hell. Don't feed it to your cat. As he's pulled that off, now he can spin the housing on the hose, and it's going to come right out. Notice a smart person keeps the bucket where how much more is still coming out, because there's always another squirt left if you're willing to fight for it. There you go. In his hot little hands are the gasket, the housing, the smelly part, and the whole Megillah. I don't know what you call this kind of gasket, but it's not a, paper gasket of the past. This is the, let's take a tour of the thermostat. Now, they don't pay me, but they fucking should for all the free advertising I give them. This is what I personally recommend you go back with. This is a Dorman 902-3036 XD. What does the XD mean? Extra D up. No, that's not what it means. It means it's advanced design. Who the fuck knows what it means? But as you can see, what we got going on here is Dorman recognized the problem. What is the problem? Well, there it is. This has the problem. How convenient I get to show you the problem. See this thing poking through? That shouldn't be poking through. That is the primary shaft. Okay, I have pushed and turned and spun, and now the thermostat element will come out of the old one. But see this pokey thing right there? That's how they fail. Hey, do me a favor. Pull that out of there. And call me Shelly. You see how that post goes through there, and when they fail, particularly the Chrysler ones, this is not a Chrysler, this is an aftermarket of some kind, that post will poke through and shatter the housing there. The Dorman is designed to eliminate that because look, no post. Now, look at this sexiness, man. Holy mother of inlaid pearl, that's the stuff. Metal versus plastic. Very nice. And as you saw, it comes with the gasket already installed. 2 bolts await you to installation joy. I have something to say about this whole thermostat arrangement while we're here. Okay, get ready for some bloviating. This is an improvement over that. Why? Metal, plastic. Better quality, quality, whatever. The design is basically the same. There's a couple things going on here. One is, Dorman did this because in all the 14 million ProMaster or Pentastar engines that are out there, they only use one of 2 thermostats. All the front-wheel drive exit to the would be the front or the engine's left side or your right as you look at it. I think you get the idea like this. And the front and the rear-wheel drive applications in the trucks and the Jeeps exit to the other side. Not a big deal. So same part, you know, shared engineering, whatever. But because this part fits a whole shit ton, an ass load, a metric fuckwad of applications, Dorman only supplies it in front-wheel drive at 183 degrees Fahrenheit for the thermostat. The actual correct thermostat for a ProMaster is 203 Fahrenheit. So this is technically, in that sense, the wrong thermostat. Now, I've talked to them about supplying elements. And in fact, they may. I just haven't bothered to go shopping around Dorman's parts list of what other elements I could find. But when you go to the AutoZone or O'Reilly's or Rock Auto or whatever the fuck you people do when you're not getting lap dances, you're going to spec a thermostat for a ProMaster, and it's actually going to come wrong. It's going to come 183 or 186, something like that, where in theory you want a 203. Will that hurt anything? The answer is no. In the summertime, it'll run a little bit cooler, but there is a point. Let me talk to your face. This is a matter somewhat of opinion, I say. This is a matter somewhat of opinion. Is it okay to run an engine with the wrong thermostat running it too cold? In the distant past, from the 90s, that's how hot rodders did it. They would remove the thermostat so the engine thought it was cold, so it would enrich the fuel and get more power and race and VTEC, and I live my life a quarter mile at a time. But that's not the case anymore. The engine wants to be theoretically as hot as possible. And as you know, this engine runs at 203 and it'll run up to 230 before the fan kicks on and drops it back down to 208. It's targeting 208, but it will certainly run fine in the summer and in the winter at 183. It won't be a big problem, but at some point of coldness, there would be diminishing returns where the the computer is trying to warm the engine up and starts putting in more fuel. You would experience, as our precious princess that sits atop the driver's seat, must be protected at all times from all bad news. You would experience this as actually more power, but also worse fuel economy. If the engine was truly underheating, down in the 140s, 150s, something like that. I feel it's perfectly fine to put in the 183, and I do it all the time, and I have yet to have an issue with that. But if you're sensitive to it, or if you live in Alaska, or you only drive on the tundra, I don't know, then you might want to think about not doing this. So it's a double-edged sword. You want the aluminum, but you also want the 203. What's a feller to do? What's a poor girl to do? Exactly what I'm going to say. Why film all this when I can just say installation is the opposite of reverse? Let me get a good shot of that, though. All right, we're going to do some bukkake cam here. Look at that. I've got it separate from the camera body. Isn't modern technology wonderful? No, not really. Not basically. Trying to get as much light in here so you can see how this works and what's actually going on. There's your thermostat opening. This is a good time to look in the engine, and you're probably going to find it's virginally clean in there. And why wouldn't it be? Because there's very little steel in the system to make what you would think of as rust. Can you see that good? Here, I'll take the hat. I'll do that. There it is. See how nice and clean that is? As you would expect. So anyway, 2 bolts with brass inserts. This surface is just block metal, and you don't really need to do anything special. I prep it just by scraping it with a razor blade. You could biscuit it if you want, but that rubber gasket is going to be fine. And you're going to bolt it in. You're going to put the hose, that hose, right back on it, and it will fit right over. And there's a little stop on the thermostat to tell you when the hose is fully seated. You will probably have destroyed this hose clamp. As you can see, we have a worm clamp on it, but it comes with a single-use factory clamp. So have I don't know, it's about a 2-inch hose clamp hanging around. And if you have difficulty figuring this out, you probably shouldn't be working on cars because this is a pretty straightforward operation. As you can see, this little lip here is the hose slides and stops there. So you can't get it wrong. And as you can also see, the design is that it has a wide spot behind it. So even as it pulls off, the hose clamp will grab it. And this does not end up being a common leak point. This is what it'll look like once the thermostat opens. It'll be very bubbly here. It'll all start gushing and taking your coolant level down at once. You can also squeeze this as I am doing, but it'll suck it down from there as soon as the thermostat opens. We are at, hey, you know what? You should get one of these apps. 168. So we got a little time. By the way, here, I don't know if the camera will pick up that high-pitched squeaking. That's the belt squeaking on all the coolant we spilled on it. That'll work itself off. Don't you worry about it. Don't you fret your pretty little head about that shit. While we're waiting, you know your van was built in Canada if it has daytime running lights. See how that's below the one for the high and low? Daytime running lights. Another hot tip, if you don't know what year your van is, it's printed on this sticker. 2016. Also in the door. Not that it matters. Literally every part is the same, 14 through 21. When you're trying to get it to, when you've had the cooling system cracked open, you can burp it by revving it. And that will force some welly behind the water pump. 186. Now you would expect this to be open by now, because it is a 183 or 186 thermostat, and it is not yet, but I have noticed that when you first install a thermostat, it needs to get really hot before it does that initial opening, and then it works smoothly. Again, I predict I'm going to visually see it here. I will also see the temperature go down because it's introducing the cold water from the bottle, and I will feel it at this hose. Those of you keeping score have noticed that the belt noises have stopped because that stuff's worked itself off. 203, this is where the old thermostat would generally open. I believe it may have opened because the temp is dropping. Yes, I feel the hose being warm, starting to warm. Temp dropping even more because it's introducing the rest of the fluid in the radiator and all that back into the system. I will let this cool, and then I will top up the bottle to here, and then I'm done with it. And be careful because there will be pressure in the system when you pop the cap. And then the installation is the opposite of the reverse, and you can go fuck yourself. No, I didn't mean that. I love you. Speaking of love, I post a video a week. I touch myself in public. I try to share my knowledge and spread my man butter as thin as possible all over the world. And we also repair vans, it turns out. And there's occasional square dancing. Well, that's it. Buy my app. Go fuck yourself and love you.
Buy my app, Promaster Phone App, custom Promaster Phone App, it'll make you happy. Buy my app, buy my goddamn app.